My name is Looby, and I watch the show about the fastest man alive. To the outside world, I'm just an ordinary nerd, but secretly, with the help of my friends from college, I run a YouTube channel about video games, movies, and TV. I used to think a show about a guy who runs fast would be stupid, but after I watched the pilot, I discovered one of my favorite shows on TV, and this is the only review show that you should watch. This is Flashback. Alright, welcome to Flashback, everybody. This is Season 4, Episode 3, and my name is Looby. I'm joined by Greg once again.
Yes, once again.
Okay, before we just straight on dive into the show, the first note that I took, MySpace? What the fuck?
What is this, like 2002? No, seriously, like, when was the last time you ever checked into your MySpace? When was the last time you signed into your MySpace?
Every once every 2 years or something like that, I try and log into MySpace, and it's only because I log in with my old AOL address. I don't remember any passwords, and it doesn't really work out.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I wonder how my top 8's doing. How's Tom doing?
Yeah, I'm really worried about Tom. What is he doing these days?
Poor guy.
I was like, you know what? I want to be best friends with Tom now. He probably lost like all that money because MySpace got shut down.
Did he lose them?
He sold MySpace for millions of dollars.
Never mind. Tom's living good for himself.
Fuck you, Tom.
I still want to be your best friend, though.
This episode, I believe it was called Luck Be a Lady, or maybe Lady Luck.
I'm going to go with Lady Luck.
I still didn't do any research in the episode titles. I don't think they were really all that important.
I'm going to call it Lady Luck.
You're gonna call it Lady Luck? I'll call it Luck Be a Lady.
Luck Be a Lady. Whatever.
And I'm gonna find out by the end of this episode what the actual title is.
Yeah, we got to start being better about that.
Nah, who gives a fuck? Nobody's watching anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so this episode, actually, I kind of like this episode. It was
different.
It was very different.
It was goofy in a way, you know.
There was comedy attached to some very peculiar concepts that they haven't really played with all that much in this show.
Yeah.
At least not to my recollection. None that stand out.
No, nothing like this.
Okay, so what happens is this week's meta, so to speak, is a young lady who basically grew up having really bad luck, and we get to see a few examples of it. She gets affected by whatever it was that affected Kilgore last week, and now all of a sudden she's getting really good luck, and everyone else around her gets bad luck. If she ever gets frustrated or the better luck she has, she's basically spreading the opposite kind of luck as whatever she has at the time. And it throws a lot of interesting curveballs at every single character, pretty much every single character in this episode. So I kind of really like that. And I almost solved the mystery of this at first, but we do more or less solve the mystery of how did this new group of metas get their powers.
That's right.
We see a brief glimpse of what may have happened because she has a bad day. She gets on a bus. She sees Kilgore and a couple other people that presumably are now metas.
That first woman looked so familiar. I thought she was on the show before, but I don't. Maybe I've seen her in like another TV show or something. Maybe. But yeah.
Yeah, we see Kilgore and a couple other people, and then something happens, and that's presumably when she gets her powers. So there's right away they kind of tease that they're going to solve this mystery, which they eventually do, and we'll get to that. In terms of our heroes, it starts off with a pretty comedic beat, them playing laser tag.
Yeah.
We think Barry's going to cheat with the super speed, but he doesn't. But it's kind of weird that whoever's in charge of that arcade let them play with children.
Yeah.
It's a little bit creepy.
But I mean, that happened on How I Met Your Mother, didn't it?
Yeah, it's a different kind of sort of show because that's like explicitly comedy. It's over the top and
yeah.
But I agree.
Maybe they're trying to go for like a comedic value on it, and then at the very beginning they made it seem like it was like this huge,
intense
serious,
stand down or something.
My question is they have that whole entire facility at Star Labs, and they decide to go play laser tag with a bunch of teenagers. Like, I didn't get that.
All that tech, you could use actual lasers and shit like that. People can actually use their powers.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine Vibe using his powers to play laser tag.
That would be
trying to catch the Flash.
Ridiculous.
That'd be fun. And then we get the return of Harry.
Harry returns.
Harry, one of my favorite characters. And but unfortunately, his return is kind of weighed down with some bad news.
What, the breakup cube?
Oh my god, the breakup cube, the Atlantean plastic breakup cube. Yeah, we get it's kind of slight bit of tease to Atlantis.
Yeah. Yeah, are we going to see Aquaman on the show? Maybe.
Possibly. It's one of those things where they're not necessarily hinting that certain characters exist, but there's like maybe certain settings exist.
That'd be cool if like one of the episodes he traveled to Atlantis.
I agree.
That'd be cool.
It's not out of the realm of the possibility.
And then the cube dispensed tissue. You got to pick your
that's
song.
so good. Okay, so basically, Harry has what's called a breakup cube on his Earth, and it's got a message from Jesse designed for Wally, and Wally's waiting at the other end of the portal with like flowers and a teddy bear. 'Cause he's waiting for Jesse to come back. He's got he's got to think for her.
Jesse's girl.
Yeah, it's over.
Anyway,
he
go ahead.
wishes he was Jesse's girl.
Yeah. No, I was. We watched Californication and Rick Springfield was on there, so they were playing Jesse's girl.
Yeah. So this breakup cube, it starts to deliver a message to Wally, and then it breaks, and then Harry has the unfortunate task of trying to explain to Wally, she's dumping you.
Yeah.
And he kind of fumbles around with it a little bit, and just showing that Harry's going to be slightly, more of a comedic force than what we last saw him, but then not quite as over the top as HR was.
Yeah, your
Thank
favorite character.
God. It's so insane that like my least favorite character and my most favorite character are sort of the same character.
Yeah.
Okay, so the girl who's the new meta, her name is Becky Sharp. Cisco eventually gives her the nickname Hazard, and we start to see some more examples of that spreading throughout all of the characters. One of which we see Barry. He tries to catch Becky, and he winds up falling on fucking marbles of all things. Yeah. I don't know why someone was delivering like a big fucking drum full of marbles. It had the Pac-Man symbol on it, or like one of the ghosts.
Oh, then they must have been going to an arcade. So marbles in an arcade?
Yeah,
sure.
Oh, that's strange.
There's got to be some kind of physics behind Barry slipping on that, because if you're traveling at like the speed of light, like don't you think you'd be able to like not be restricted by?
It's also weird that he just went almost straight up in the air.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's
again comedic style.
It's the physics of a comic book show. Who gives a shit? There's problems happening at the West household.
Oh my god.
That you know what I kind of dug that thread of it.
Wait, which West household?
Joe.
Okay, yeah, that West household I'm fine with.
Yeah, so they start dropping hints that the house is a little bit old, and his girlfriend Cecile wants to sell the house.
Yep.
So then they could start their own new life. The house is too big. There's plumbing problems and stuff like that. Joe's kind of hesitant about it because that's where the bulk of like the best parts of his life were.
It's where he raised his kids.
Birthed and raised, and
Iris and Barry.
See, what are the other bad stuff? There's the Wally breakup thing. That's the another bad luck portion of it.
Yeah, and then Barry going into the coffee shop trying to talk her down.
Yeah, that okay.
And are we gonna? Do you want to? Is there anything before that you want to touch on?
Yes. Well, what technically happens before that? Oh my god. Okay. The other thing that first of all, we get this house is bitchin' drop.
Yeah, this house is bitchin' drop. So
it's
maybe
still holding on. Maybe it's going to be a season long little tie-in, little tag, like a catchphrase.
Yeah, this house is bitchin'. Maybe since they heard Barry say it.
Yeah. Then Joe is ready to break that out whenever.
Or that's foreshadowing.
Could be. Something might happen in that house, which we might get to at the end.
Yeah.
And then the other bit of bad luck that happens is Barry accidentally catches Iris in her new wedding dress, which you'd think would be the cause of the bad luck, but that was all before they really
dwelled into
dive deep into the powers of the meta.
Yeah, so I think that was just an accident. Plus, like he didn't knock at all. He just kind of ran into his. Actually, why would he? It's his apartment.
It's his apartment.
But
if she didn't want him showing up or seeing the dress, she would have told him, "Don't come in."
Yeah.
Or not put on the dress in the middle of the fucking living room.
Yeah.
Go to the closet, the bathroom, something.
Go into the closet.
Go in the
Iris.
Oh man, that was mean.
That was mean. Actually, no. I kind of feel that vibe from her. She's kind of a bitch.
She does some weird shit in this episode.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But then the next reveal that we get is the reveal of how these metas got their powers. Turns out it was Team Flash yet again.
Good job, Team Flash.
Fucked it up. So what happened?
But this time it wasn't Barry's fault.
For the most part, it wasn't Barry's fault.
Well, it was technically Barry's fault.
Anyway, so please explain to us what happened.
So, if you remember from the first episode, if you didn't see our review of that one, go ahead and watch it. If you remember from the first episode when they brought Barry back, he opened a wormhole from the Speed Force into Earth 1. And they brought it back saying that the moment that he exited the Speed Force through that wormhole, how would you describe it?
Like a rush.
A rush of dark energy vaporized, well, not vaporized, but it engulfed a busload of people who happened to be the people from the beginning of the episode who were shown, with Lady Luck and Kilgore and all the other people. And we find out since there are 12 people, there's 12 people on that bus that are exposed. So that's how they get exposed.
Yes.
Barry Allen exposed them unintentionally.
Yes. So, it's... I don't know. Do you like the fact that they caused the problem again? Sort of.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just like, oh well, I guess we're gonna have to fix this problem as well. It's just they can never do anything right. They do more harm than good. It almost seems like.
You think that maybe they were trying to? I mean, part of it maybe they wrote themselves into a corner. Maybe they pulled a little bit from the Batman mythos about how he more or less creates the villains that play Gotham.
Yeah, I think that's a vibe. They're kind of vibe. That's
every time.
That's a theme I think they're trying to go with is they create their own problems and then have to go and fix them, and nothing is ever just by coincidence. Nothing is ever by not their intentions. Mm-hmm. Everything just seems to be going back to they've caused it all the way back to the beginning when Harrison blew up the particle accelerator and affected everybody and turned everybody into a meta, and thus created the Flash.
Yes. Okay. So then shortly after that happens, we get the little confrontation between Barry and Becky in Jitters.
Yeah, but it's Barry is Barry, not the Flash.
Barry is Barry, who calls it like it is. He's from CSI and he works in a special department. I thought that was a nice little showdown that they had. A very, specifically a human moment.
Yeah, face to face.
Where
maybe he thought I can convince her to not turn herself in, to not
reach out to her humanity.
Yeah.
But then her powers start building more as the confrontation goes on because she's feeling the tension, she's feeling uneasy, but she still has the luck on her side.
Backed in a corner almost.
Something like that, yeah.
Because she knows that he's trying to, he basically says, why don't you just turn yourself in? And she's not having it. And there were a couple tense moments where I'm like, oh my God.
The guy has a nail gun pointed at the baby. The guy's got a nail gun
pointed at his face, and then at the very end, he's got a nail gun pointed at a baby, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, Jesus.
That was a bit much. But
would you not point that at places, dude? Put it down.
Dude, OSHA would be very upset.
Yeah, watch where you're pointing that thing.
What? What the fuck are you... Okay.
So Barry unsuccessfully
tries to
convince her to turn herself in.
Yeah.
What a surprise.
Or at least acknowledge that there's a problem going on.
What a stretch of bad luck.
Yeah, she sees it as kind of like a balancing of the universe. She had such bad luck her whole life. Yeah. Now she's finally getting the good luck, and the rest of the universe is getting to basically walk a mile in her shoes, having the bad luck. Which it's not a good justification, but if you were in her shoes, you'd probably kind of feel the same way.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
she had a real bad stretch of luck.
Yeah. And then when Iris calls Barry for something she wants to do all of a sudden.
This is ridiculous.
I think you enjoyed this scene. Why don't you enlighten us?
So, Iris calls Barry and says that she wants him to come somewhere because she's got something important to tend to, and he flashes to the church, goes inside, and sits down, and he's kind of confused. What are we doing in a church? And she said, "Well, we're getting married."
Yeah.
Okay,
Iris is in her wedding
this
dress.
is different. Okay, she's in her wedding dress. He's got a nice shirt on and a tie, and he's like, okay, well, this is unexpected. And as he finishes that statement, a group of people carrying a casket come walking
Yep,
by.
pallbearers.
Pallbearers. So Iris has the brilliant idea of getting married after a funeral.
Yeah, it's basically throughout the whole episode, they're trying to book venues, they're trying to do this and that, and they're constantly being blocked at every turn. Like one venue burns down, one venue. What happened to the other one?
One venue that got filled up. Somebody
Yeah.
took their place.
Yeah, so she's trying to head off the bad luck
Yep.
with an incredibly stupid fucking idea, which is, that's kind of par for the course for
We're
her.
just gonna move this. Takes the portrait of the guy that just had the
Oh my
funeral and
gosh.
moves it. And
Yeah, but luckily or bad luckily,
luckily.
depending upon how you look at it, the priest has an allergic reaction. Can't
to
do the wedding.
cinnamon. Dude, that kid looked like a prick.
That
there was
fucking
there was
little
there was
douche.
an altar boy that was just swaying the essence everywhere, and I forgot what his name was, but like
Seamus.
Seamus. Seamus, what essence did you use? Did you use cinnamon? And he's just standing there, just smirking, like, hell yeah, I used cinnamon. Anyway,
You old bastard. Okay, then we get a nice scene with Cisco and Harry, and Harry kind of he seems tense the whole episode. He and Cisco are kind of arguing a lot, and we find out the reason behind that. And I think it's an interesting reason. I think it's not the last time we're going to hear about this. I think we might eventually see this. So what happened was Jesse, who's now Speedster, as we remember back from last season. Fucking what's his face? Harry helps her build a team.
Yep.
Full of presumably other metas, or just basically something to mirror Team
Yeah.
Flashback on Earth 1.
crime fighters.
And Jesse doesn't like the way that Harry's more or less managing or even micromanaging that team. Team takes a vote and kicks him out, even though he made the team and his daughter is, one of the stars of the team. So he
Stars.
feels
Star Labs.
So he feels dejected because it's A, something that he built, and B, it's sort of something that he built. It's his
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah,
That-
it was in a sense his team and his own daughter, and they both kind of just
They
kicked
turn their
him
back
out.
on
Yeah,
him.
they turned their back on him, which I think is going to be a bad move on their part. I think they're going to come crawling back, asking for him to come back and help them.
Could be something. They're not going to leave that end loose.
No.
In that way. Okay. So then the next thing is when they find out that Becky/Hazard is at the casino, and she's rolling
Snake Eyes.
She's rolling everything in her favor at the craps table, and we find out that the better luck she has, the wider range of bad luck that gets spread towards everyone else. So then, a whole bunch of disasters start happening at once. Oh,
Cecile falls down.
Cecile falls down because everything in Joe's
house is
house,
falling apart.
all the plumbing. There's leaks everywhere. There's electrical fires and shit starting. She falls down, and Joe can't get in because the door's jammed. And then there's a fucking plane that there just so
What are
happens
the
to be
chances?
one goose flying in the air, gets sucked into the turbine, whatever you want to
engine.
call it, and
Blows it
an
out.
engine fucking explodes immediately. It's starting to crash, and there's a weirdly calm pilot. The co-pilot, he's doing basically all the talking. He's freaking out a little bit, as much as he should, and then it slowly pans back to the pilot, and he's just
Because this is the second time that's happened.
is it?
Yeah, because the co-pilot said, "What are the they called you an unlucky pilot? What are the chances that you have another goose engine or something?" And sure enough, another goose flies in his engine. So that
Okay.
pilot's probably like, "God damn it!"
I might have
again.
missed that line.
I'm
Every
too
time
old
it
for this.
Every time it slowly panned back to that captain, I thought it was
Yeah.
extremely weird. He was so stone-faced. And then apparently the particle accelerator activates itself. And now here's where things, I think, get extremely weird.
Yeah.
So then the bad luck's building and building and building. Barry tries to stop Becky. He can't do it because he's plagued by bad luck. He fucking falls on Nichols or something and somehow cuffs himself with the
Like,
the
how is that even
dampener.
possible?
It-
How
it-
is that literally even
It
possible?
was a comedic beat. It was fucking weird. It was just so that Barry couldn't stop her. He's got the power dampening cuffs on him.
Yeah.
And
Iris is trying to break him free, and she can't.
Which makes sense.
Harry and Cisco are trying to.
They're trying to
override.
They're trying to deactivate the accelerator, and then Harry stops and he says, "Let it go." And that.
Okay, Elsa.
So he says, let the accelerator
Blow.
do its thing. Let it blow.
What? I don't. That's something that was just like, what? Like, you guys said it's going to explode, and I think of explosion like explosions.
Yeah. But
Not
really,
like explosion.
it's just
like
the wave that just. I don't know, how would you describe it?
It was like a wave of.
It's just a wave of energy.
Well, positive energy almost, because they got hit with negative energy and like dark energy in a sense. So it felt like the particle accelerator was pushing like positive energy, and then after the explosion we find out that through a slot machine that her luck has finally run out.
Yes. So the accelerator wave negates because they give it like a quantum explanation as to the bad luck thing. So then they say that the particle accelerator energy negated that luck, gave her the bad luck again, and returned everyone else's bad luck into normal, standard, whatever.
Like, that's pretty lucky.
It's all
on their
very
part.
it's all very strange and convenient.
Yeah.
They catch her, but I don't know. It just felt weird letting the accelerator go off like that. And also, they said it only temporarily negates her powers. Now, even though they put her in jail, she can't really get any good luck there, which would cause the bad luck for everyone else.
Yeah.
So, in a way...
They probably have, like, a dampener on her or some kind of, like, field. I know she's in Iron Heights, probably, but...
Yeah. Well, yeah, they did say she went to Iron Heights.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just all everything that happened, it felt like a weird way to wrap things up.
Yeah. It was
better to know, like, it was better to learn how these people got their powers in the middle of the episode than it was to try and wrap her arc up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
It was a strange end to the episode. What happened after that?
Okay, so then everything seems to be all hunky-dory.
Yep.
Harry and Cisco make up by Cisco saying, like, look, stay here with us. We need you to help solve these problems, and you need us because we can be the family and the friends that you need. That you were rejected by back on your Earth.
Yeah, because they were originally like his first family in a sense, like him and Jesse. I mean, they saved him pretty much from Zoom, and
Yeah.
I didn't see. Did he agree? Did he give like a non-verbal agreement?
Yeah, they said no to the hug, but I don't think that was a no to stay with us.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we get the other thing that kind of felt out of place was what Wally decided to do.
Yep.
So take this one.
So at the end of the episode, Wally comes back to the team and says, "I understand you guys had a lot going on, but none of you asked where I've been." Like, he'd been gone the whole entire episode, and we find out he goes to Earth 2 to talk to Jesse. Real big shocker. And decides, after talking to her, since he's got nothing with her, that he needs to move on with his life as she's moved on with his, or she's moved on with hers. And he's decided to move to Blue Valley, which has another,
It has comic book ties.
Yeah, no, it has some comic book ties to it, but, so now Wally's leaving the frame from the Flash team. I mean, he's always going to have a home, and I'm sure he's going to make a cameo, but, it's one less from the team. And it's not surprising to me because it just didn't seem like he was that much of a center this season, as much as he's been in the past,
Yeah. So it felt out of place, but I'm kind of glad that they take Wally out of frame, because every time we see him, and if you watch all these other Flash recaps that we've done, it's like, Wally doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Wally didn't do anything here. He fucking failed here. So it's
God, that fight with
Kilgore.
Kilgore.
Oh, he gets knocked out immediately.
Yep.
So he's obviously going to return sometime before the end of the season.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I hope they have him evolve as a character, evolve his powers. This could be a welcome break. He's evolving. This could be just what he needs, because then when he does come back, it'll feel, we'll almost be glad to see him.
Yeah,
I think it'll
be like a breath of fresh air in a sense.
Yeah,
yeah. Bring a change of pace. Change of pace. You get it? Because they run.
Sorry.
Okay. It's just like next episode. God damn it! I am off my game tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink some of that. Okay, so then there's one last beat. This was the post logo,
which is usually
bit.
which is usually like a little bit of a climax or not climax. It's like
it's an extra little nugget of
a little bit of nugget and a little like hope for the future or hey, coming soon.
Well, a lot of the times they almost like introduce a villain or they show more of the thinker or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh wait. There's one beat that we missed.
Okay, what's that?
Which was Harry pretty quickly realizing that there's a pattern, that there's more to the threat than just these 12 metas. That he
uses a chess analogy.
He presents the theory that maybe someone orchestrated the Flash's return in order to create all these extra metas.
And they use the word think at least 20 times.
Several times. It's so cheesy. It's terrible. But I like that, and that's just another reason why I like Harry.
So he's
much.
actually catching on to like what could be going on.
He knows meaning. He sensed it immediately, and I think he's getting ready for it, and I think he knows it more than anyone else.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. Okay.
I agree.
So then anyway, back to the final beat. We see Cecile and Joe.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe is ready to sell the house and to move on with their life. Cecile has the exact opposite. She changes back and says, "Let's stay here." Kind of wonder, well, why is that? The house was almost practically collapsing on the two of them during that big climax when Hazard had her best luck.
Yeah.
And she kind of takes a minute. She turns to Joe and says, "I'm pregnant." And Joe just sits there
frozen.
The camera like stays on his face for like 15-20 seconds as his smile just like slowly goes away, and he's like, he barely blinks, doesn't say a word.
One of his kids just moved away, and now his new girlfriend is
like
prego.
His actual daughter and his like adopted son are getting married. His one son left town, and then suddenly like, oh, sorry, well, you need more. Here's another one.
Yeah. Hey, just in case you were feeling comfortable with your life.
Yeah, here's
monkey wrench.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see what they do with these two and a half characters, so to speak. That was it. That was the episode.
Yeah, that was the episode.
So if you were to give a number rating for this episode,
I'm going to give it a 7.77.
God damn, dude, that was almost exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say 7.7.
Did you do it because of the number 7?
No.
Oh, well.
I see why you did, though. That's good.
7.77, triple sevens.
But yeah, it was a pretty good episode.
Yeah, I liked it.
Next week's looks like it's going to be a little more of a comedic beat because the character that they run into doesn't seem super like threatening, but he's got stretch powers. So I think they're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Stretch Armstrong over here.
Something like that, yeah. So that's going to be it for us as well. Stay tuned next week for that's going to be episode 4, right?
Episode 4.
For next week?
Yep.
All right, this was episode 3 of our Flash recap show, Flashback. Thank you for watching. This has been 165 Entertainment. Please like this video, comment on it. If we missed anything, if you disagree with us on any points or agree with us on anything, please let us know. Subscribe to the channel. And keep an eye out for our other contents. My name is Looby.
My name is Greg.
Well, then comment. Because you probably don't do any of that shit, do you? Well, yeah. Fuck you, Sod.
Your guns.
That's all. See ya.